So first, Elena, tell us a little bit about yourself and your data journey at BBVA.
All right. So first of all, thank you so much for inviting me and inviting my company to this event. Very, very happy to be here. So I will try to answer short, but please stop me if I don't. So I've been in BBVA for 14 years now, and I've been working in data for between 12 and 10, 12 years. No, so it's difficult to say when BBVA started this journey because, well, data has been always there. For a financial company, data is money, so we've always been very careful with data. We don't lose money, so. But, okay, if we think of when we started our big data journey, let's say around 10 years ago, no? And for me there was a specific event, and it was the creation of a company within BBVA, 100% owned, that was called BBVA Data and Analytics. And the reason why we created it as a separated entity, fully owned, but separated, was purely for talent management. Because 10 years ago we realized pretty soon that bringing people from the research community, from online companies, data scientists, no, wasn't that easy. No, I remember when they asked, okay, what is the career plan here? The career plan here is that you have to be a manager, and then you have to be the boss of that manager, and there you go. No, and they were like, and where is research? And where is the expert career? And what if I want to be better in what I do, but I don't want to manage a team? And it was like, come on. So we created a complete environment so they could be more attracted and especially retained. No? So that company, I had the honor to be the CEO of that company during 3 years, from 2014 to 2017. We grew that group up to 70 people, more or less. And then what we did was to generate projects to show the company that there was a point, no, on trying.
It's so interesting you say that. You know, we have used the term data translator, but I've actually found more and more that a lot of the successful data leaders are actually data entrepreneurs. And hearing your story, it sounds like you very much were the data entrepreneur for BBVA. Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, I felt like an entrepreneur by that moment. Okay, a lucky entrepreneur because I had the money assured, no? And I had the projects, but we did, I don't know, maybe 25, 30 projects, and the organization started to realize and to pull from us a lot. So in 2017, there was a decision to scale the capability, because 70 people in a company of 120,000 employees, you can do some things, but you don't transform the company. So there was a head of data appointed by that moment, reporting, and this is important, to the chairman. So it is at the same level as the business and as technology. It's not within technology, it's not within business, it is another reporting line. And then there was a new organization set up. No? And the idea was to have a decentralized organization, but with centralized strategy. So what we did was each domain and each country in BBVA had its own head of data. Okay? And this head of data has to deploy a strategy on 4 layers. Platform, technological platform, data quality and data availability, talent management, and then a portfolio of analytical projects. Okay? So I am not the head of data BBVA, by the way. I am the head of data within client solutions, which is one of the domains. It is the biggest domain for data because it is the commercial activity. So everything related to product innovation, all the businesses for retail, for enterprise around the world is within client solutions. So it's a big one, but it's not the only one.
How many heads of data are there within the organization?
So it's one in each country, so we have 7 there, and there are around 15.
15, okay.
So each of these 15 people is responsible for deploying a strategy that is defined in the global head of data together with us, and then we have to deploy in the 4 layers that I mentioned. So, for instance, I co-report to the head of data and to the head of client solutions.
Excellent.
So we are kind of very, very close to the business or to the domain. There is one head of data in risk, one head of data in talent and culture, another one in finance. We are very close to the business, but at the same time, we report to the guy that is leading the strategy.
So it's very interesting, very similar kind of experience, right? Where you have a federated kind of organization, you have to bring the expertise and the knowledge as close to the business domain as possible, but at the same time, create standards, accelerate where possible, promote an ecosystem and sharing. So I'm interested, in terms of one of the topics we've been talking about today is data culture. I'm interested to hear about what are some of the challenges that you've faced, whether it's within your domain itself or across domains, around building a data culture at BBVA.
So when you say beyond the data teams, it doesn't mean that within the data teams we don't have challenges. So I mean, we have challenges all over the place. And even if I say we started 10 years ago with these 4 layers, etc., we struggle every day with all of them. I don't think that we have got there. Eh? But if we think of the challenges that are beyond people that are more involved, so beyond technology, let's say, so we can think of the business guys, the business people, our colleagues in the business domains. I think we had to work a lot to create trust. No? Because they think and they know a lot about the business. They have a lot of experience, and sometimes so big is the experience that they don't let data help them. No? I think we have overcome this at this moment, but we have struggled a lot. Another thing that I think within also the business domain that we are working on also hard is whenever we want to deploy a product that has to have some sort of intelligence behind. For instance, I don't know, our app recommends you how to save, no? So it's important that the design of this experience brings data from the very beginning in the team. So it's not that there is somebody in the business and in the design team that thinks, I want this, they have some screens, and then they call me and they say, you, Elena, bring your magic and plug the data here. No, this doesn't work. So we have to sit on the same table because there are lots of opportunities coming from the data. And also there are a lot of handicaps in the data because we're always, this is hard to explain sometimes, but we're talking about predictions. So when you are in a prediction, you have uncertainties. So you cannot say, I remember when the first time we did a prediction on a customer account 2 months in advance, and it works well, no? But it has a certainty. An uncertainty better. So it was like, so you cannot tell people that at the end of the month they want to have 525 euros. No. I can tell him that we will have between 500 and 600, which is okay because it's more than what we had. And it's, I want to say 525. So it's difficult sometimes to transmit. People feel it every day when they look at the weather. They know more or less that 60% rain, what it means. When it comes to data projects, it's not that simple. So that I would say. And one more thing, maybe more general, is that it's sometimes difficult to understand that a data project is not like a standard software development.
Yes.
Data project is always a cycle. No? And a standard IT project is design, development, implementation, and there you go. You maintenance and that's it. No? In a data project, it's always a cycle. No? You need the data loop back. You need to learn, and then you need to fine-tune all the time. No? And this is not as easy to understand.
It's actually quite interesting too, often with software. I mean, you can write out a set of requirements and you may know what the problem is and you can define it and you can develop around it. Still, you can use agile methodology and so on, some learning. But with data often, until you've actually used the data, until you've actually started building, you don't know what you're going to find out. And so by its nature, it has a lot of uncertainty during the development process. There's the feedback. There's also the change management, as you mentioned. How do you get people, when they see the results of a model, to then understand, well, not only the range, but why was this range given, and can I trust it in the future when they share another insight? So when you think about kind of the data democratization effort, has it been largely around getting AI models into the hands of to different employees? Has it also been around making data available to different folks to create their own insights as well? How have you thought about the adoption, for example, of data for your domain?
So we can think of 2 types of data usage. No? One is when we enable our colleagues to better decide based on data. And for that, I mean, we haven't done it for the whole corporation, but we've tried to start with the most important things. No? Of course, everybody has data. We have, I don't know, 6,000 branches around the world, and people receive data every day. Sometimes it's a PDF, sometimes they have it on their computer. But thinking of my specific domain in the product development area, For that specific area, we use Domo. We are customers of Domo, and we are using it specifically for KPI follow-up, strategic KPIs, and then also for the follow-up of all the programs, transformation programs that we have in all the business areas, and also in the performance of those businesses. And today, we have hundreds of people accessing this data at the same time, and quality data, one single source, and we can assure that this data is okay, something that we couldn't say some time ago. So that is one type of project, is the colleagues' decision-making that we like to call it. And then there is the other part, which is the algorithmic area. No? And here, we work very closely with the product teams, as I said before, trying to put intelligence inside a product. For example, I mentioned a recommender system, but also, for instance, a pricing engine, and outlier detection, something that optimizes a process. So those are algorithms that you have to insert in the process. And that is not that simple, no? Because you need, of course, you need the data in place, no? Quality data, but then you need to productivize.
Well, you know, we were talking through the whole data journey, right? All the different, you have to get the data, you do the analytics, you create the insights, but then you have to integrate it into the workflow. What's the app that they're using? What's the website that they visit? Like the whole integration. And it turns out that data on its own is useful, but data in the right context, that changes decisions, and that's what creates value. And so it's software engineering plus AI plus data engineering. It's all that all together, right? To be able to build these solutions.
And ideally, those teams should work together. No?
Yes.
And that's also challenging to happen, because normally people think of a project in a sequential way. No? I do my analytics part, and then here comes the ML engineer, and then you transform this Python into whatever you need. And this, I mean, in my experience, this should happen much earlier. Otherwise, it takes, as you say, 6 to 12 months for almost anything.